Hello and welcome to another Bodgit and Leggit video. Yes, it's been a while. We are getting back to the Cosy build, and today we are going to be putting the 4-branch on, the turbo on, and the inlet manifold. So I'm going to go through the bits I have. I happen to have a genuine Ford Rally anti-lag turbo. Lucky to get it because I'm running anti-lag on this. You do need a special turbo. You can run anti-lag off any turbo, but they just won't last. This is a proper anti-lag turbo. It's got a proper shaft in it, or a special shaft. The turbo is essentially the same. It's just the shaft inside can take a lot more grief. It's a Merlin shaft, and it's a 247 shaft. It's a special shaft that's in there, and it's a genuine Ford Rally turbo. And yes, so we're going to put anti-lag through it. Now at the minute it's running a 48 manifold. I have a 63 manifold here, so this one will allow more horsepower essentially. You will get a lot more lag with this, but because I'm running anti-lag, it makes no difference to me. And it is going in a van, so it's not as if I need, you know, it's just a bit of fun really. So with the actual bigger manifold, you can get more horsepower, but it's a balancing act, because if you was to have this on with no anti-lag, you wouldn't really be getting turbo to about 3.5, 4 grand, which is quite, well, 3 anyway, between 3.5 maybe. With a smaller manifold, maybe 2.5. It'll kick in, so there's a big kind of difference. I'm not sure exactly, but I know that these do lag a lot more, but with anti-lag, we don't care. So we're going to swap the manifold around. We have a 4-branch manifold here, which we wrapped in another video. And we've also got a blow-off valve connection there. And as you remember in the other video, I wasn't sure if I was going to use that, and now I'm using anti-lag. I'm going to be using that. This one has been modified, as you can see. Look at that sexy weld in there. It's been modified so I can run an external wastegate. There was an internal wastegate in this, but with anti-lag, I'm going to run an external wastegate. So I was lucky enough, it took me ages to find one of these, and I found this one already modified, so it was great. They're hard to come across now because people are using kind of a more modern turbo. It's just I come across this turbo, it's a T34 anti-lag turbo, and that's what I wanted to put in it. Keep it all kind of Cosworth Ford rather than going for kind of the newer turbos. And yeah, still going to be serious. About 400 horsepower in a transit van, should be all right. And yeah, can piss up all the Jap boys. Right, so we're at the end. I'm going to put the manifold on first. But I think I'm missing a couple of bolts for the manifold, but that's not the end of the world at the minute. We can get some more, but we'll get it on. So we have new manifold gaskets, and as you can see, we've got a shiny side and kind of a dull side. Now the shiny side goes out, and it's the shiny side that actually hits the exhaust manifold, you could say, because that's what gets obviously a lot hotter. So before you put any of this on, you need to make sure this is nice and clean, a good flat surface. I'm wearing gloves because the manifold has that exhaust wrap on it. It's kind of fiberglass, and it really is seriously itchy and horrible. So what I'm going to do... Oh! Well, we have a big problem. Okie dokie. I don't know what I'm going to do now. As you can see, or if you maybe can't see, but our alternator is in the way. See, these are things you don't expect, which is bloody annoying. So, I'm going to have to make either a new alternator bracket, or I'm going to have to put the alternator somewhere else. Was not expecting that. It's not the end of the world. I can get around it. But yeah, the joy. So I'm going to undo this 13mm bolt here first and see what I can do. Right, now there's a couple of things I can do. We can see if this should just bend out the way. which it will do. Now, how far will it bend out of the way? I can mostly make a new bracket to come there. I don't know if it's too close to the alternator still. I can just get my fingers in behind the alternator. You just see the gap there, and I don't know if that's going to be enough of a gap. I could always move it down here or make a new bracket. I can just unbolt this big, huge, heavy thing here. Well, actually, no, I can't because that's got the... We'll come to that on another video. Something I wasn't expecting, but hey-ho. This is the problem when you're doing this type of stuff, because I'm obviously using a different manifold to what was on it, because this is a 4-branch manifold, which is just better. And one thing I am forgetting to do is put the washer. I got new washers, bigger than the standard ones, just to help spread the weight of this manifold. And what I might do is, I might also put some sort of bracket just to support this manifold as well. I'm not sure yet. I'll decide that later. I just want to get the manifold and the turbo on and the inlet manifold on, and I'm going to have to worry about the alternator and everything else down the line. Now, this is the problem when you're doing a build. Because I'm changing a lot of things, like this is a different manifold to what was on it, we've come across these problems. I can maybe get a smaller alternator or do something with the bracket. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to see what my options are. I'm going to go from there. But stupid little things like I'm missing 2 bolts. I cannot find them. I did buy some, a couple of replacement ones, but I didn't buy enough. And it's these little things that are stupid. It's cost me about 25 euros for 3 of them studs. Because again, no point going for the cheap shitty ones. I went for the good proper ones, and it's just them little things that really do kind of add up, take a lot of time. I'm going to have to wait the guts of a week for them to get here, so I can't do anything with the turbo or anything at the minute, so I'm going to leave that, and we're going to now work on the inlet manifold. Just have a standard inlet manifold, nothing special about it, but what I am putting in is this is a 17mm spacer. I think there is a 20mm spacer, but I couldn't find one. Well, I couldn't find one that would actually deliver and do all that. Again, this is billet alley, so it's really good, really light, but what it's designed to do is it goes in here and it essentially spaces it out by 17mm, as you can see. And the idea of it is, it does a few things. It gives you more air in here, so more air, more fuel, more power. That's simple. Also, it can kind of cool the engine down because there's a bit more air in, and it can cool the air down that goes into your engine. I have seen things like this and similar things for engine advertising. They say they give you 15 horsepower and all this. They just don't. This is not going to give you 15 horsepower. I mean, with the 4-branch manifold and the right tune and chip and all that, yes, it's going to help a little bit, but it's not going to, you know, you're not talking hundreds of horsepower like they all say. But it's one of them things that is reasonably quite cheap. It's worth putting in. It's not going to harm it. And it's just going to make everything, well, not so much run better, maybe a bit smoother, cool. It can help, let's put it that way. It can help, but it's not going to give you massive amounts of horsepower like most people think. And what I have done, again, I've had to order longer bolts as well, because obviously you can see the bolts, that the original bolts aren't going to be long enough. These are stainless steel Allen key bolts. Again, might as well go for the good quality bolts. There's no point skimping out. So I've ordered all them. They've all come. So hopefully we'll be able to just get this in and bang this on, at least get something done today. These are just the unexpected things you just cannot count for. Like, I wasn't expecting to have a problem with my alternator, but there you go. Now, especially with torques and stuff, you don't want to get air tools on it straight away. You want to make sure you get the right torque and just loosen them by hand first. And then you can get the old air tools or battery powered tools on them. But first, just crack them. Oh, this one's tight. Go in. I can see someone's had a go at that already. That's been rounded. we'll leave that one till last. Now I've got a T30, which is slightly bigger than what it should be, but hopefully it's just enough to grab it. Please work. Oh, thank you. And it was. I was lucky there. Right. This should now separate. Awkward working on a bench like this that I can't get to the side. But hopefully, there we go. Now, this needs a clean. So give this a clean, give this a clean. Should we get all that off and ready for our new gaskets, because we need 2 gaskets. That's another thing you have to remember. We're going to need 2 gaskets because we need a gasket here and there, and then a gasket from here to there. So once I've cleaned this, I'm just going to use brake cleaner and a knife. No point filming that because that's just going to be boring. Once I got this clean, I'll turn the camera back on and we'll get ready for fitting. Okay, this can be a bit awkward. So here's my 2 gaskets. It's all cleaned. Because to keep these gaskets in place and to line up all the holes is going to be quite awkward. But this way you do have to be careful and don't just think you'll be fine and screw a bolt down, because if you cross thread it you're in trouble. I just rest this down and then just try and screw all this up, I guess. I don't think you need to see this because it's going to be boring. Once I get these in, I might just get a couple in and flip it around just to be a bit easier. There was no Loctite on the old ones, so I don't know. I think I might just put a little bit of Loctite on them just so they don't vibrate loose, because I'll never be opening that again. So that's what I'll do. I'll just drop a little bit of Loctite on them, get them all screwed down, and then we'll see what this bad boy looks like when it's on. Right, so as you can see, we've got the new gasket on. Oh, this is what it looks like when it's actually done. So you can see the spacer in there. Now what I've got to do is put this on the right way, would normally help. Now, this is the best side. Every time you put something on, it's looking more and more like an engine. Now, I do need one more bolt for this as well. These are M6s, by the way, and the thread is, or the pitch is 1.0. But I didn't have a long enough one. This one is really long, so I've ordered more of them. So that's coming, and then hopefully at the same time the bolts for the far side will come. But that'll only be a few seconds for you, but not for me. About a week, I think, I should hopefully have them here. So I'm just going to get the other bolts for the top of this now. But as you can see, we're looking more like an engine. And not only that, we're covering up more holes, which is good, so nothing else crap can get in. So as you can see, oh, lovely, look at that, shiny. So I'm just going to put them in, and I can actually tighten up that. I haven't tightened up this yet because I'm missing a couple, but I can screw these babies down. Right, it's only going to be a matter of a few seconds for you, but about 2.5 to 3 weeks for me to get all the parts in I forgot, like a few nuts, bolts, stuff like that. So we're continuing, but we are continuing with Sean, who is going to come in now, and who has also got a t-shirt that is spelt wrong. Yeah. But I suppose Bodgit has to be spelt wrong, doesn't it? So what we're going to do, we have my turbo here, which is a T34 turbo, proper anti-lag turbo with a 247 Merlin shaft in it. So it's a proper full-on anti-lag Ford, original Ford turbo, which is like finding hen's teeth and rocking horse shit. But our manifold has an external wastegate. This manifold is too small and it's obviously set up for an internal wastegate. So we have a 63 manifold. So this manifold is physically bigger so we can get close to our 400 horsepower. With that, we just won't get to it. This has also been modified, as you can see. It's all been welded up there. Modified for anti-lag, for an external wastegate, sorry. So this is going to be perfect for us. It took me a long time to get it, so this is the only one I could get, but it doesn't matter, it'll do the job. It's been modified, so we're sorted. So we're going to put this on the turbo, and then we can bang the turbo on the engine. And what we need for that is, I have a different turbo dampener on my engine, which needs this connection on the turbo. So where the turbo actually connects to the manifold, which is these 13mm bolts here, we're going to put that special bracket on, which will allow me then to hook it up to my turbo dampener, because this thing is going to be boosting at 2-bar boost, which is just hellish. So we need the turbo to stay there, otherwise it'll just rip off and make a funny noise. Right.
Sorted.
Sorted. Right. So we're going to get Sean to do this. We need to take off these bolts. So I don't know how tight they are. Oh, they're tight. They're tight. Maybe put this in the vise, but that's not. Oh, they are tight. And the problem with some of them is I can't get the ringed end on them. Right, this is what we're dealing with, this type of bolt. So I've got new bolts and new locking tabs for the bolts, as well as a new bracket that'll go around the turbo, and it'll allow us to hook our engine, our turbo to our engine with our turbo dampener that we're running on this car. So I don't know, this is the problem, because I can't get something completely round there. This is going to be a problem. So no point me filming it because this could take a long time. So we have to figure out a way, well, Sean is, not me. Figure out a way of undoing these. There's only 5 bolts left, but I can't get the ringed end of the spanner on it because everything's in the way. So we'll figure it out and we'll turn the camera back on. Right, I have it off eventually. Nightmare. Normally, you can just loosen a couple of the bolts and the turbo will actually spin, and it will allow me then to put a spanner completely around it to undo it. Couldn't do that, ended up having to cut one off. And anyway, I'll show you on there when we come back to it. But what I want to do first is, I'm going to put the manifold on here first, because I need to work out exactly where I need the turbo, exactly where it's going to line up for this fella here. So we still need to tighten down the manifold. I've also figured out what I'm going to do with my alternator. There's a special drop down bracket you can get, so the alternator is going to be sorted. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to get Sean to put this manifold on for me. If I don't drop everything. Now, what I've done, all new bolts, stainless steel bolts, special bolts for obviously like the exhaust, because it's a turbo, so it's like a locking nut. because you come this far, you might as well do it properly. Oh, that's it. Oh, see, just that's why you should always cover that up. But the problem is, I've been taking this on and off so many times, covering it up, it just gets annoying. But even if I did drop something down there, I could just whip off the manifold. It isn't connected, it's not the end of the world. Also, what we've got a proper, really thick stainless steel gasket. You can buy some Chinese knockoffs of these. They're half as thin, they're crap, they're just crap. So buy the proper one, just buy it and stop trying to save money because it's just stupid.
You won't save money at the end.
Especially for something along these lines. So, I'm going to bang this on. Oh, I've also got really heavy duty stainless steel washers as well. Now hopefully, he has no idea what he's doing. Well, that makes two of us. Now normally, on these types of manifolds, these have got studs in on the standard manifolds, and you don't have a nut and bolt like I'm doing. Because the way this manifold's designed, this is the way we just have to do it. So I'm just going to kind of get these on and let Sean tighten it up. Then I'm going to get the specs for the manifold, just so I can use my new fancy torque wrench. Normally I wouldn't be finding the spec, but I'm going to. This is definitely the best part of the build. The more you put on, it's just starting to look more and more like an engine every single time. Right, he's just finishing off that. Stick your tongue in. You don't need your tongue out when you're tightening the bolt. You just stick it in. That's it. Close your mouth. So what's the torque spec for that, Sean?
Click, click.
Yes. Click, click indeed. So he's done the other three. He had to use 2 spanners on the other ones, as you can see, just not enough room. I'm kind of in two minds whether to put the turbo on, actually the whole turbo on and do this. But I don't know exactly where I need it, and I'll show you that in a minute. So I just decided to do it this way. It is going to be a bit awkward to tighten the bolts, but then it was going to be awkward no matter which way I did it. So I'm going to do it this way. So he's just finishing off that now. Now, the upside to a bigger manifold is you get more horsepower. Simple. You put a bigger manifold and a turbo manifold on, you get more horsepower. End of story. But the downside, you get more lag. Sorted. So you get more lag. Now this turbo is going to kick in on this car maybe around 3.5 grand. But because I've got anti-lag and it really only matters in first gear, I'm not going to really have to worry about that. I can flick my anti-lag switch on and I'm going to have no lag at all. So that's why I went for a bigger manifold. If I didn't have anti-lag, I'd go for a smaller manifold, the manifold I had on it. But because I've got anti-lag, we can go for the big fella. Now, so here's our old manifold, which is smaller, but not only that, it's actually designed for an internal wastegate. We did have a little problem. I had to cut off one of the bolts. I just couldn't get to the turbo. You can see there was a bit of rust here. This turbo, it's brand new, but it's just been sitting for God knows how long. But anyway, so that manifold's now off. Not a problem. Here is our new turbo. Now, we are going to have a few issues with this turbo because this is a proper Ford Rally turbo. It is actually designed to have the reducer in it. This should be nice and smooth, so I'm going to have to make something up here. But again, I'm not going to worry about that yet. But something we will do. So this is essentially the turbo. So what I've got to do now is bolt this back in place and see exactly where I need it. But I need to put my new clamps on it. Right, because I'm not running an internal wastegate, I can essentially have this turbo anywhere I want it, really. Now I do have to be careful of my lines and stuff to make sure my oil lines and my water lines actually fit. It is, if I was to line up that, so it is going to be in and around there somewhere, but I'm not 100% sure where I want it because I'm doing different things to how it was. I might need it slightly down more, slightly higher. I'm not 100% sure yet. So yeah, I'm not, that's why I'm just going to put these bolts in and kind of leave them loose. And when I put the engine in, I'll tighten them up and I'll find out exactly where I need this to go for everything. So that's what I'm going to do for that. But before we put that on, I want to actually tighten up the exhaust manifold bolt. Right, Sean's just going to zip in the bottom bolts before we torque them. Make sure you're square on it. And press the trigger. You tell me. That's the one. Now you should kind of go in a star pattern, but we're doing something slightly different here. So we won't worry about that at the minute. Perfect. Now, what we're going to do is we're now going to torque these fellas to factory specs. Right, so we are going to torque these in the star pattern, or should I say Sean is going to do it. And he's going to, what's the torque setting, Sean?
25 newtons.
Okay, go for it. Perfect. Right, so what pattern are you doing it in, Sean?
A star pattern.
A what pattern?
Star pattern.
Star pattern. Are you on?
There we go.
Can't see. Turbo's in the way. There we go, look. Bingo! Right, so Shawnee's going to torque the rest of them in the star pattern. Can you get it that way? Or you can just... I want to see if we can get it that way. This is your next one anyway. Right, do that one. Look at his concentration, sticking his tongue out. That's how you tighten a bolt. By sticking your tongue out, isn't that right? You on?
Yeah.
Right, so he's going to finish off the rest of them. And then we are going to put the turbo on. Right, we have more problems with the turbo dampener, so I'm going to have to order more bits, but I'm going to call it for this video and order the bit for that, and we need to order the drop down bracket for this. But as you can see, we have the turbo on, we have the manifold on, we've still got obviously stick kind of the main turbo on, the turbo manifold on should I say. And the problem we're having with the drop down bracket, I'll let Sean explain. Right, the problem is, because we've got a 4-branch manifold and normally the turbo is kicked in a lot more, but because normally you can't get away with this type of manifold, because we're putting in a transit, we don't have a clearance issue. So our turbo is kicked out a lot more to our standard turbo. And the problem we're actually having is, we'll let Sean explain.
So we can't have the bracket in this straight position because our rose joint is too big, so it won't fit on. So look, it won't fit on.
So as you can see, our rose joint is way too big. We can't get a small enough one that is right for us. So what we're gonna do,
we're gonna put it in the down position, like this, and we're gonna get a bigger rose joint to fit on.
So essentially we're going to get a longer rose joint, which is going to be stronger, and it's going to fit on there, and it's going to look
awesome.
Yeah, awesome is right. So that's what we're going to have to do. So we're going to leave that for another part. More waiting, more money. Just these things are never straightforward. It just is never ever straightforward.
So things never go straightforward. Well, at least we have this lovely Cosworth engine to go in the beast.
The beast. Just look at that. Just look at it. I mean, what more can you say? Oh, I've also forgot to mention, we got the longer bolt. I haven't put it in yet, but we have the longer bolt for that.
Hope you enjoyed the video. More to come. And most importantly, don't forget to get your hands dirty. Sorted.
Sorted.